From Las Vegas, Sandy Kastel and friends.
Ring on the host. Here is Sandy Kastel.
Hi, and welcome to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael.
That's good. I like that. Well, you know, we're getting close to New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
You know, I got to tell you something, folks. At the beginning of the show, you hear that harmony. You know, welcome to the Sandy Kastel Show. You know, that was the what are they called?
Sunny Boys.
The Sunny Boys, and those guys sound like the Modernaires.
Barbershop Quartet.
It was the Modernaires and the Letterman, and the Letterman carbon copied the Modernaires. Now, the Modernaires was the one who did Dream. If you go on YouTube and put in Dream and say the Modernaires, you'll hear that the harmony was absolutely magnificent, and it's nice to see young people like that have that flavor of the harmony, which was great.
You know, and I also I want to get back with Monique Brewster, because remember she had that little promo that she did for us too. I'd like to get that back in the air too.
Monique
Brewster.
Monique Brewster.
So how was your weekend?
My weekend was fantastic.
Fantastic.
We had a great time.
How fantastic was it?
It was very, very good. It was very nice. I think of Mrs. Strubble.
Very nice.
Eloise Strubble. Every time I think of her last name, I think
Eloise.
of Jerry Lewis going, Mrs. Strubble, how are you, Mrs.
I think
Strubble?
of who is it that she looks like?
She's a dead ringer for Kim Novak.
Kim Novak.
That's what she
I can
looks
never
like.
remember Kim's last name.
She
It's
was
Kim Novak. And as a matter of fact, I was talking with Peter Anthony Wynn.
How's he doing?
Over at the Urban Revolution
I
over
love
at
that guy.
Hualapai and
He can't help me, though.
Flamingo.
My hair.
Yes, and he did my color again. Yes, folks. Yes, it doesn't look lovely. But he was talking with me about doing a special WEMA Ladies' Day. For the ladies, do a hair and makeup.
Woo!
Yes, coming up soon, either in January or February. So we're going to lock down a date.
What about me? Where the hell do I fit in?
This is a ladies' day. A ladies' day, because I don't think you'd want to put makeup on.
No, I want to be around all the broads.
Unless, of course, you're in front of the TV camera.
Yeah, now you're talking.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, he was saying how he'd like to get his hands on Eloise's hair. He said, yeah, there's a couple of women, you know, in the WEMA organization that I'd love to do their hair. And one of them is Lee. You know, Lee has he said, you know, the one with the short red hair. I said, yeah, that's Lee Christensen. Lee. And then, of course, Eloise Trouble.
Mrs. Trouble, how are you, Mrs.
Yes, and Susan Solare.
Not Susan.
Susan and Gigi Ullman. Oh my gosh,
pretty.
Gigi. Yes, Gigi, do you want to have a hair and makeup makeover day?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
There's
with
a couple other
Peter
broads that need to get
Anthony
hit, too.
Wynn. Yes. So anyway,
Some of
look
your
forward
friends.
to that. We'll be posting that on our Facebook page, which is Sandy Kastel and Friends on Facebook. So if you're interested in doing something with us, all of the money that's raised for that is going to go to the WEMA Scholarship Fund.
You know, I got to say something about Gigi Ullman. She's the nicest lady I have ever met in my life, and I'll tell you the reason why. I never met a person so kind-hearted. You know, she's got millions of dollars worth of art. She'll walk in, she'll say, here, donate this to WEMA, and whatever money, you know, that you get for it, keep it. You know, she's incredible, you know, and that's what it's about.
I know.
Some people are just so grachad. Now,
What's a grachad?
Grachad means greedy. They want to save every buck. They don't want to give nothing to charity. You know what I mean? Then they wonder why they have no luck in their life.
You know what happens, Michael?
What
I
happens?
noticed, you know, when, you know, remember there's a thing called tithes, giving back tithes.
Tithes, yes,
and,
in the
you know,
Bible.
it's been around for 1,000,000 years, and I'm sure it's done in a variety of different ways, you know, in different cultures. But the basic premise behind it is that, you know, it's like paying forward. You know, you do a kind deed for somebody, and then it goes forward. Then they do a kind deed for somebody. Then they do a kind deed. Then they do a kind deed, and so on and so on. And then all of a sudden, those kind deeds come back to you. It's not that you do it to get the kind deeds done for you. It's that you do it out of your heart. You do it out of the kindness of your heart, out of the compassion, and you do these things for other people, so that you're paying it forward, or you're giving tithes. And these are the things that are special. And one of the people that does that for WEMA so much and gives so much of herself is Gigi Ullman. Thank you, Gigi.
Yes, we love it. We got your Christmas present. Come and pick it up.
And also one of those is Peter Anthony Wynn and
Another
Stephanie
nice guy.
Wynn. Yes.
She loved my Brussels sprouts.
I mean, look at
She
what they
loved
did
my
for
Brussels
Wema at
sprouts.
our event that we
Oh,
had
my
at
God.
the Canyon Gate Country Club, a couple of months ago.
You wanna
we
laugh.
did a huge event there, and we had the big band. We had Peter Pavone.
Peter
we
Cottontail.
had Mark Giovi. We had Jimmy Mulador.
Jimmy!
Yes.
Hey, buddy!
And we had Peter Anthony Wynn, who gave out all of those backpacks filled with products for men and women. And also he gave out 16 or so free haircuts. And you know what?
What?
I asked him, I said, well, how many people have called you to set up their appointment to get their free haircut? And he goes, not very many. I said, what do you mean not very many? You gave them a free haircut. Getting your haircut is a very personal thing.
It is.
But I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, whoever won those gift certificates,
Yes.
they are a valuable gift. Be sure and contact Peter Anthony Wynn at the new studio, or new salon, which is over on it's called Urban Revolution.
Oh, yeah.
And it's over on Hualapai at Flamingo, just off the corner of Hualapai and Flamingo. So check it out, Urban Revolution.
Oh, God. Last night, I was so depressed. I had to take all the decorations down.
The decorations.
Yeah, I took the tree.
I know it
got
took
up.
about 10 minutes. It took about 3 hours to put it up and 10 minutes to take it down.
But I was thinking of the people that did the lights, like for the Christmas holiday lights. You go to these neighborhoods, that ain't done in 2 hours. These people take weeks
Yes.
to put that stuff up, and
It's
they take
a
their
plan,
time.
and they
It's
plan all year long.
Right.
Well, who's the guy who's that guy? He's like,
Chris Kringle.
what is he, 80 years old or something? And
Chris Kringle.
he has this, and every single year he does this, and he builds this whole thing in front of his house, and it's very elaborate. And then, he plugs it in, and then it's like in the movies. Either it's going to go,
Well, there's a lot of guys.
or it's going to be beautiful.
Believe it or not, a lot of people put the extra 220s in, and they.
They have generator. He has a generator.
Yeah,
Actually, he
because
brings in
the
generation.
load that goes through that will never handle the lighting that they put on it outside. So
In fact,
there's an
I think
extra-
people actually donate that, things like that, like the generator and their time to come and help him put it all together. So, as we close out the season, the holiday season coming to an end, but we're getting ready for the new year.
The new year, 2000, and ladies and gents,
2015. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And Michael, do you remember Benjamin Button, The Amazing Life of Benjamin Button?
I remember Benjamin Franklin.
Benjamin Button. Brad Pitt Button was in this movie, and it was a very interesting concept. He started out as, he came out as a baby, obviously, but he was all wrinkled up and shriveled up like an old man of 150, and then gradually, so it was kind of a weird thing, unusual, and the mother really didn't know how to handle it. So her husband took the baby and left it on the porch of someone in a neighborhood, and that woman raised Benjamin Button as her own.
The black lady.
The black woman, yes, and it was a great movie. And he actually, he gradually, he's getting older, but his body is looking younger as he goes. But there's a point in it where he sees what's her name? Is it
Nancy
what's her
Lombardo?
name? Do you remember the lady in the name? Check that out, Benjamin Button. Anyway, the actress, who's only 12 years old, she runs into him, she meets him when he's looking like he's really, really an old man, but he's really only a couple years old, Right. And then, but what happens is then they keep seeing each other and they become buddies and pals and friends, and, so then through the years, then he's getting younger in appearance and she's getting older in appearance, and finally they meet up in the middle when they're in their 30s. Kate Blanchett, yeah.
Kate Blanchett.
And then at the end of the movie, of course, gradually they end up getting together, and then, but it's just such a beautiful movie. And you think about, the reason I thought of that is because of New Year. You know how they have the little baby and the diapers and
how
everything?
pretty. How pretty.
I thought of Benjamin Button. Anyway, so do you have your New Year's resolutions ready yet?
Yeah, do you folks?
That's right.
We want to know. Why don't you call us? Yeah.
Yeah, call us at 702-731.
They don't want to say nothing.
702-731-1230. Give us your top 5 New Year's
How about
resolutions.
just one?
I'd love to hear from Jolie.
Jolie, he disappeared from the face of the earth. Jolie.
I hope everything's okay.
Well, what I heard is
Jolie.
this is what I heard.
Anyway.
He's He's traveling.
Hi, Jolie.
He's traveling the country.
Hi,
He's traveling the country, which is nice. And he told I talked to him a few weeks ago. He's in Spain. He's in Spain.
I was so exciting you remember a couple of weeks ago we had Pirko on the show.
Yes, what a lovely girl.
And everybody knows her as Jole's wife, here, because when they moved out to Las Vegas.
That's what it says on our driver's license.
That's right. It says Jole's wife.
What? Jole's wife.
And she prepared a wonderful apple tart for
Oh
us.
my God.
And it was so beautiful, and it looked like a flower, like a rose on this.
I got a thorn
and it was
in my
really
tongue.
beautiful. So anyway, we miss you guys. Hope you're doing well in your
God bless
travels.
you.
Okay,
They
give
forgot
us a
us.
call. Give us a call.
They got a buck in their pocket. They travels. That's what happens with these rich people. They forget you.
Well, he took down his paintings at the house because
Well,
he
we're
had a
selling
big
our
show,
home.
and
We're
we're selling the
selling our
house.
home,
And I said, I know, and all these people are coming in and they're looking at the house. And as a matter of fact, the house is for sale, and it's in Canyon Gate Estates. It's
if
a
anybody
beautiful,
has
beautiful home.
$2,500,000, give us a
That's right.
call.
That's right. Because I'll tell you, this home was like,
I know.
it took 3 years to build that home, Michael.
I know.
3
You
years.
build it. I had nothing to do with it. I wasn't around then.
No, you weren't around.
I was in the deep parts of Africa.
You were, yes,
Fighting
yes.
the Ganges.
So we're going to talk a little bit about real estate today. We're going to talk about what's the New Year's resolutions. We want to hear
Romance,
from you.
sex.
We're going to talk about favorite movies. Anyway,
And
give us a
positions.
call here at 702-731-1230. And if you're just tuning in now, you're listening to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with
Cher.
Chef Michael. All right, we'll be right back
Yeah,
after a
yes.
message from our sponsors.
Yeah, yes, sisters kazoo.
Alexenko.
You dirty son of a... Don't let me curse.
Left me with eyes that cry.
Everybody's a winner. This is Sandy Kastel and Friends. Here again, your host, Sandy Kastel.
Hi. And welcome back to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know. I've got to come up with a different way of saying Chef Michael.
Yeah, that kills me. I hate that.
Chef Michael.
How
Chef
about
Michael.
just,
Chef Michael.
don't even mention me. Just
Anyway,
say hi.
well, okay, I won't. This is
say
Sandy
hi.
Kastel and Friends Variety Show.
That's all. That's all.
Oh, yeah, but something feels like it's missing. I mean, if I don't say Chef Michael, it's like a seesaw that's out of kilter.
They go-
It's like going.
When they introduce me on the stage, they say, this man needs no introduction.
That's right. You do need no
He
introduction.
needs no... The
So
storm,
from now on out.
the storm that can't be stopped. That's how that... Tony Ferretti was the guy that said that. Ladies and gentlemen, the storm that can't be... It's the truth. You can't
Michael,
stop
I'm
a storm.
so excited.
Why?
I'm supposed to hear about the house, the new house today. I'm so excited. I'm hoping Alex Yanko calls and gives me good news.
Yes, I'm
Alex
so
Yanko,
excited
Alex
because it's
Yanko,
driving me
Alex Yanko.
crazy.
Alex Yanko has really been a big influence, in a lot of
he's a good
people's
kid.
lives.
He's a
Look
good
at all
kid.
the good that he's done. Speaking of people giving back and paying forward, he has, he feeds the homeless every week at his organization, Higher Power over on Maryland Parkway. He also donates things like bikes and big gift packs, backpacks to kids, at the holidays. He also will go over and change a light bulb across town.
He's the best.
If that's what he needs. He helps out seniors, and if they are in need of something getting done around the house.
When he came to the house for Christmas Eve dinner,
Yes.
I made the lobster sauce.
Did you have a light bulb out?
He went out of his mind. He kept he couldn't stop eating. But the funniest was Neil Colmenares, the
Neil
executive producer of the
Colmenares.
show. All right, and
Ricky.
he was so funny because he was putting the
Ricky
lobster sauce on the meatball.
Who was Neil?
Neil, I was
Oh my
laughing. I
gosh.
says that's a seafood sauce.
Well, that sauce
Yeah,
is
that
so
sauce is
good. I mean, you could put it on a lot of things. I wonder if you could put it on ice cream. Anyway, Ricky Cash is on the phone.
Not
Hi,
that
Ricky
Jew
Cash. How
bastard.
are
He's
you?
out there.
Hey. Watch your language around here. How
guys,
are you,
how are you?
Cash? We're good. Where are you?
I'm actually driving in the car.
Driving.
I got my sciatica all fixed up by my chiropractor, so I'm back and ready to rock and roll.
All right.
great.
You had sciatica?
Yeah, I got a good guy. He's over in Henderson. I'm going to give him a shout out. His name is John Ormond, and he's really good.
John Ormond, chiropractor.
Well,
who
I
helped
called
Ricky
John
Cash.
today. I called John and I said, John, I am so glad that you helped Ricky Cash.
Ricky Cash.
He says to me, I says to him, I'm sorry, what did you do? He said, I told him to take his money belt off and he felt great. He said the guy was
Wait,
carrying.
well, you know why, Michael? Because it was full of coins, and they had quarters and nickels and dimes.
I gotta
because
tell
everybody
you,
is
Jews will save every dime.
Wait. There's a reason, because he has the Ricky Cash fan club,
Right?
And not everybody can pay in dollar bills.
That's true.
So he says, "Look, I will take coins, I will take cash, I will take whatever you have."
And
Right, Ricky?
And he has it. You're all right,
Hey,
Rick.
listen, very important for you guys to listen on Thursday night.
Thursday night.
To Vegas Unwrapped. And the reason for that is Aaron and I are coming into the studio today from 2 to 4 to do we're going to pre-record the show because it's New Year's night, and frankly, we want to watch football. But the reason why I want you to watch is because we're going to be giving out some awards that night, and you guys are nominated for 3 of them.
Wow.
Oh my
I
God!
better get a trophy. I don't want no little piece of paper. And if it's a piece of paper, it better be in a frame.
You're getting some coins.
That's all I can afford is the certificate.
Is
that
that one
case,
of those
all right.
coins that said, "Don't take any wooden nickels," Ricky?
That must be the one.
Well,
Anyways,
we'll be listening in,
I
Rick.
just wanted to wish you guys a Happy New Year, although we will see you Wednesday on New Year's Eve.
That's right. We'll be
anyway.
all wishing everybody a happy New Year, New Year's on Wednesday when you
Right.
come in. Right?
That's great. What a way to bring in the new year.
Some interesting New Year's facts that people don't know about.
Well, that's
Okay, good.
Thank you, Rick. We love you, pal. I'll see you at
you
the
guys-
Temple Beth Shalom.
We'll see you Wednesday. Have a great show.
Okay,
Thanks,
ciao.
buddy. What a nice guy, ladies and gentlemen. That's
I know.
Ricky Cash and Aaron Phillips. Now I say it correctly.
Aaron
Aaron. It's not Aaron.
Phillips.
I keep saying Aaron. It's Aaron. ARROAAAAIAAN.
Isn't it AARON?
I don't know.
AAARON.
You know, it's funny. I gave
Hey, that kind of sounds kind
I
of
gave,
cool. Double A.
a beautiful jacket to Robert Gordy, and it was a Scarface jacket. And that guy, he must sleep in that jacket because
Isn't that
it's a
nice?
coat.
It's a
Yes.
Scarface.
Yeah, I got that at Caesar's
Scarface.
Palace, believe it or not.
You did?
I got when it first came out. I ain't going to tell you what I paid for it. It was and it was sharp. I
That's a
wore
fuzzy
it
one,
one time.
One time.
That was it. Just once I wore it.
Well,
And,
that's because somebody came up to you and they thought you were the guy.
I thought I was the guy.
They thought you were the guy with the thing with the, on the movie and stuff. So they, and when they stuck the thing in your back and you said, I don't want to wear this jacket anymore.
That's true. That's true.
Right? Yeah. Bada bing.
Boom.
Bada boom.
You know, it's funny. I came in early this morning, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people don't know what the Mummers Parade is. Now, for those East Coast people back in New York and especially
New York.
South Philadelphia, in my neighborhood, the Mummers Parade is over 60 years old. Okay, and there was no women.
And it's a big deal.
Right, allowed to be in the parade. They
I
changed
know.
it now. They got women. And I want to make you just listen to just some of the Furco String Band. They march down on Broad Street, and what these people do, they rehearse all year for one day, and the costumes is incredible. Now, this is the Furco String Band. Here it goes.
There's a little clip of that
Little clip.
as Ryan zooms in on the Mummers Parade.
And what happens is, this happens New Year's Day. The parade starts, ladies and gentlemen, at 7 o'clock in the morning.
What's that guy doing walking in front
And
of the
it's
camera?
done at 8:30 to 9 o'clock at night.
Holy
it's the longest parade you could ever possibly see. And every walks of life come from all over from the state. And the costumes is fantastic. It's incredible. So, and you know what's sad, Sandy? It's never televised nationwide.
Well, no, so
the
now,
Rose Bowl is.
Is this on the first day of? Is this the
New
first
Year's Day.
New Year's Day? But we usually see the one that's in New York, the big, huge parade that's in New York, right?
That one there. That's the Rose. That's like the Rose Bowl. They do that. The California.
The big things.
That's the Macy's Day Parade. That's Thanksgiving.
Oh, well, where am I? What do I know?
So, but
we don't have any big parades on the first of the year.
No, but this was tradition, and everybody would.
Why don't we do a parade?
A parade? Forget about it. They have parades, and but like I said.
Hey, look me over, lend me an ear. Oh, is that the wrong day?
I don't know.
Oh, that's an Easter parade.
Anyway, it's a great thing, and the show is incredible. It's nonstop. It's just nonstop.
Your Easter bonnet. with all the thrills upon it. Have you ever gone in the Easter parade, Michael?
No.
No? You don't wear any big hats in the Easter parade?
No.
Well, mostly the ladies do.
It was big in Atlantic City back in the 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
They would walk down on the boardwalk in
Yeah.
Atlantic City. And I got to tell you, I was very blessed to live in South Philadelphia. Then my summers would spend in Atlantic City. And those days in Atlantic City, it was just magnificent. And Frank Sinatra was at the 500 Club on Missouri Avenue. And I was at 13 years old. I played the Harlem Club in Kentucky Avenue.
The Harlem Club?
And
How'd you get in?
My mother and father had to be there, and I played with the Bill Frio Trio.
Bill Frio?
Bill Frio Trio. I'll never forget it. And
That's a tongue twister.
yeah, it is. And I was 13. It was all naturally country club. I mean, it was like the Cotton Club. It was all black. It was all run. But it was those days. There was predominantly white audiences and Kentucky Avenue. But it was all, they had B.B. King, they had Billy Eckstein, they had all those great performers. And like I said, I was a prodigy at 10 and drumming, and I played at the age of 13 in Club Harlem, which was a great honor to me. And my mom and dad had to be there, my mother and my father, because I wasn't of age at that particular time.
That's right.
But I was a draw, and then when the show was over, me playing the drums, I couldn't sit near the bar. I had to go sit in the back. But I had the pleasure of, meeting Sammy Davis and Billy Eckstein, because we played in the front, the lounges that was in the front. And I was a novelty as a kid, because they'd seen this 13-year-old Italian kid.
You're still a novelty.
Yes, playing with some great acts. Let me tell you, Chris Colombo, Stanley Hunter, greatest B3 Hammond organ player ever hit the face of the earth. He was. If you don't know the name, a lot of people might not know who he is, but he plays like Jimmy Smith and Groove Holmes, which was absolutely great, and it was a lot of fun. That was back in 1963.
1963?
Yep.
Holy
63.
Toledo. Well, well, speaking of real estate.
Oh, Christ.
No, I was looking for this name. Oh, it's Brandon Roberts. Brandon Roberts is going to be joining us, on the TV show.
When?
Brandon Roberts with Signature Real Estate.
Get out!
Yeah, he's going to be joining us, and we're going to be doing... Actually, we've got a couple of things coming up in 2015. We're going to do a whole thing about, real estate and in the growth of the Las Vegas area with Brandon Roberts from Signature Real Estate Group. And also, we are going to be doing something down at the World Market Center.
Oh, my God, I can't
Yes,
wait!
yes, with Cloud 9.
Not Cloud 9!
Yeah, Cloud 9
Oh,
and
my
Eloise
God.
Strubble.
Mrs. Strubble, how are you, Mrs. Strubble? I'm
Yes.
Mrs. Strubble.
We are going to be meeting with different people down at the Furniture Mart.
Yeah, I got the
and we're going to
chills
be
right up my
talking about
kazoo.
design and fashion. Well, design with them. And then we are going to meet with Nan Kogan.
Not Nan Kogan!
Yeah, Nan Kogan over at White House Black Market.
Get out!
Yeah, and do you know White House Black Market is also part of Chico's, it's part of
Chico's?
Soma's, it's
Oh,
it's
no,
part of
Sandy, you're
Boston
kidding me.
proper. That's right. And we're going to get them all together. We're going to do a styling fashion show. It's going to be so much fun. Along with Peter Anthony Wynn. And Stephanie over at Urban Revolution. And we're going to do the makeovers there with the hair and makeup. I'm so excited. So we've got a lot of things coming up and a lot of WEMA events. What?
Nothing.
What are you laughing about?
I'm just thinking about something.
Yeah, so actually, the whole reason that I started this radio show, what was it? How long has it been?
It's almost a year.
About 3 years
and
ago.
it's a pain in the ass coming in every day.
I started 3 years ago. I don't know where you were, but I
know where I was at.
I
was in deep parts of Africa.
Yeah. So I started it 3 years ago, and it was all about WEMA, women in music and arts. And we had a lot of artists on. We had a lot of singers, performers, and visual artists, literary artists, and performing artists. And we're going to have a lot more of that coming up in 2015 on the TV show and also on our radio shows.
Well, I got a call today
everywhere that we're doing.
I got a call today from Smith's.
Yes.
And I told them that's a proposal that we're going to do.
Shopping at Smith's.
We're going to do something phenomenal, because I got to tell you something, folks. It's such a great honor to have them, sponsor. That's really not me. It's Sandy Kastel and friends to be behind her show, which is really great. And
Cooking with Chef Michael.
It's funny,
Michael. I did it.
Because when I was there,
I couldn't hold back.
The last few weeks ago, we just said before Christmas, the Sunday before Christmas, I said, come on, Sam, let's have some fun. And we went there. We gave out show tickets, and I could not believe the meat that I sold because I was hanging around the meat department. God bless you.
Excuse me.
I was hanging around the meat department.
That was me.
And people were picking up chuck roast and stuff like that. And I had my chef outfit on, and I was telling them what needs to be done. And, you'd be surprised. There's so many people that really don't know what the hell they're doing. And they say, I buy this meat, and it's always dry.
Or they get into a rut, Michael. That's most of what it is. People know how to cook.
Yeah.
It's like I started cooking when I was 4 years old. I know how to cook, but what you do is you take people out of their rut, give them the simple, you take them back to the basics with the 4 simple spices. Salt, pepper, parsley, garlic. And then you give them these entirely new dishes to make that maybe they never thought of before. And, you can hear about them here on KLAV, Lotus Broadcasting, every Monday through Friday with Chef Michael. Or you can see them on the weekends, we've got, or all the time on YouTube because we've got our TV shows posted there. And Sandy Kastel and Friends TV show with Chef Michael, of course. And you can see him actually cooking these dishes that are amazing so you can learn how to make them for your own family and friends.
We're going to do it on a television show. We have...
But hold that thought for a second
just
there,
5
Chef
minutes
Michael.
Of commercials in the beginning, but all right.
And
sorry, go ahead.
Would you like to do something else?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Nope.
Never mind then.
Forget it.
You tell the sponsors.
Nope.
If you're just tuning in now, you're listening to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael. And we'll be right back after a message from our sponsors. Even more sponsors.
Lady doesn't leave her escort.
Making every morning brighter. This is Sandy Kastel and Friends. Here again, your host, Sandy Kastel.
Hi, and welcome back to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael. Hi, Chef Michael.
Hi.
What do you have for us today? Come
Nothing.
on, give us a nice new recipe, something we haven't heard before.
Boil water.
Boil water.
Stick your shoes in it. And that's how you clean
And
it.
soften up your leather.
And soften up your leather. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
So,
sounds really exciting. a little salt,
New
salt,
Year's
pepper,
Day-
parsley, and garlic. That should really be
New Year's
taste
Day,
really good,
everybody
really
has a
tasty.
tradition. Some people make corned beef.
That's right.
For news. The Italian people make lentils. I never did that, believe it or not. But my father, God rest his soul, and people always say, God rest his soul. You know what I mean? Your soul ain't going to go to rest. It goes, and it doesn't go to heaven. It goes in the twilight. You know what I mean? If you
I'm so glad that you cleared that up.
Well, I don't want to get into that. Anyway,
Yes.
so
But getting back to New Year's Day.
New Year's Day, my father made beef soup.
Beef stew? Beef soup?
He'd go to the butcher's. He'd go to Tom the Butcher on Passyunk Avenue across the street, and he'd buy the shank, and he'd buy a beef bone, and my father would cook that, and then and he used to put barley the last hour and a half of the soup that was cooking, the barley, and then the last hour you put in your vegetables. The problem is when you start cooking vegetables for 4 hours, you know what I mean? They just disintegrate.
Right.
So that's
you don't
the
wanna
end.
do that.
And my father used parsnips. Now, for those people that are out there that does not know what a parsnip is,
Isn't it something that looks like a celery?
it's a carrot, but it's
Oh,
a
it looks
white.
like a
It's a
carrot?
white carrot.
Oh, it's a white carrot.
It's a
That's
whi-
right.
it's a white carrot.
Oh, that's leeks that look like celery.
Right.
Okay.
Hey, talking about a leak, I gotta go.
Okay.
So what you do
Hurry
is
back.
you put the carrots and celery and your fresh onion, and you
parsnips.
put the parsnips. And I'm telling you, the beef soup is great. And it's amazing when I think of beef soup now because I had the greatest compliment that was ever given to me, beside my grandmother, when she said that I was better than her, and I could never believe that. But my grandmother looked at me. She says, "Michael, trust me, you're better than Grandma." And nobody was better than Grandma. But that's how that's why she turned the spoon over to me at the age of 18.
Yeah.
Is Joanne Kastel. Now, that she's unfortunately she didn't make it with us for the holidays. She passed away.
God rest her soul.
God rest her soul. And she came to my house, our house. Sandy and I, on every Sunday, and I used to make, from time to time, beef soup. And she says to me, and Joanne was how old?
71.
71 years old. She says, Michael,
Young.
this soup tastes like my mother's.
Aha.
My mother's.
And
So,
that's, what's interesting is most of your recipes, somebody says it tasted like somebody's mother or grandmother's food cooking.
Sandy,
Like Jimmy Molidor said that about your
yeah. If it's meant to be, through God's grace, that we open up a place, because we're looking. Food-wise, like I said, as far as entertainment, that's one thing. But the food, believe me when I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, not for anything. It's just that it's such an honor for me because I kept my grandmother and my great-grandmother alive through the recipes that they have showed me what needs to be done. You know what I mean? Like, these cooking shows on TV, they're great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking none of them
There's
down.
a lot of them,
There's a
too.
lot of
Oh,
them.
my gosh.
You know, and then what they got to do with Chef Raymond, he's got to holler at people and make a fool out of people
Oh,
for everybody to
bad.
watch him. Somebody talk to me like that. I crack
Well,
across
everybody's
that face.
got a gimmick, Michael. A
That's
lot of
the
that
gimmick.
is planned. So, how
Of
do you
course
get
it
back
is.
to the beef stew? Beef soup.
Well, here it is. It's very simple.
Okay.
It's 6 quarts of water.
6?
Yeah.
That's a big pot.
That's right. That's
Okay,
6
quarts.
6 quarts of water.
Okay.
You want to get yourself a 3-pound chuck roast or shank.
3 pounds.
3 pounds. Okay. The cheapest piece of meat you could buy.
Pork
All right.
roast or shank.
The shank is really the key. And if you go to Smith's on Durango and ask for Scott or Mike, those guys are the head guys. They're the butchers. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, they'll cut you a piece of meat like there was back years ago in the butcher stores. People think they don't do it. They will do that
Oh,
for
I
you.
know.
I'm
Just like in
telling
the
you.
movies.
They'll get you whatever you want. They'll cut you whatever you want. And they'll order anything that you want. See, I can't speak for the other Smiths. All the Smiths are great, but we shop there. You know what I mean?
Order anything you want.
And I got to tell you, it's great. So you get the shank and you get the bones. Now, I want to tell you something. Make sure you always... you make sure you smell the bones, folks, because if the bones have a bad smell to them, they're bad. The marrow turned. Throw them away. Do not throw them in the pot, because the smell is what the flavor is going to taste like.
Ooh.
So what you do is you wash it, and you smell the bone, and make sure that it has just a regular, nothing smell. But if it has a very strong smell to it, that means that bone turned bad, that marrow turned bad. And if you cook that, it's like I'll give you for instance, like when you make a sauce, a pasta sauce, you always got to stir and feel the bottom of the pot, because if the pot sticks, all right, and there's a portion in the pot that has a hot spot, and it burns the sauce. That's what you're going to taste. That
Ew,
sauce
burn.
is
We
going.
don't want that.
That sauce is going to taste burnt, because sometimes when I had a bad pot, I would turn around and I would dump the sauce in another pot, because if you cook it for 4 or 5 hours, what happens is that burnt taste is very, very bitter. That's why I always say to everybody, you don't season when you fry. You don't add salt. That's the last thing you do towards the end, because the granulated pepper, the granulated salt, the granulated garlic that you use is very fine, and that's what burns, everybody. You must understand. So anytime you fry, do not season. Season when it's done. Trust me. That's that. So anyway, and then what I do is I get a can of stewed tomatoes, and I throw the stewed tomatoes in the water. That gives the water color. And the last hour I throw my carrots, my parsnips, my celery, my onion. And boy, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it is absolutely delicious. Takes 4 hours, and that meat, you'll pick up that meat. Now, if you bite into that meat, folks, and you got to chew on it, that meat's not done. Okay? That's the whole key. So what you do, again, like I say, you get your water boiling, add your bone, add your meat, and what happens is as it's boiling, a white foam will come to the top. You scoop that off. You get a spoon and you throw that away. You don't stir that back in the sauce. It actually will separate from the water. It's the fat that's there. You just take that right off, and then you add your stuff, and then your soup is great. Now, if you want to make it a little heavy, if you don't want it soupy and you want it a little heavy, when I say heavy, I'm talking about like a soup that has a base to it. Then you get yourself cornstarch, not flour, because cornstarch will not change the color of the soup. You ever go in the store and you get like beef barley in some of these restaurants, and it's a little thick, it's heavy? Well, they put cornstarch at the end. Now, do not sprinkle the cornstarch, ladies and gentlemen, right into the hot pot, because that cornstarch will coagulate. So what you do is you get the cornstarch and you add a water, and you make a water base to it. And as you add your water, you stir it with your fingers, okay, till it almost is like a liquid, and then you pour that in your soup.
Okay.
Okay. Now be careful. Be careful. Don't pour it all in at one time. When you see that texture, stop, because if you pour it all in and it's too much, I'm going to tell you something. You'll need an oar from a boat to turn it, and you'll ruin it. And remember, when you do flour, now it's great for cream soups. Cream of mushroom, cream of celery, cream of broccoli, cream of cauliflower. Then you could add your cream. Now, then you add your flour and your milk. and what you do, and then that'll tighten it up. So anytime you see those type of soups that are out there, that they don't use cornstarch for those.
Okay.
They use it for that. So anyway, and the soup. Now, if you want like a dip, like a French onion dip, then you just leave it natural.
Okay. Well, that was a lot.
Well,
That's great. So beef soup.
Beef soup
for New Year's Day.
New Year's Day.
That's right. And then, my grandmother, Mary, used to make the corned beef and cabbage. And that's what I was telling you about. That was something that she made. And I asked my dad the other day if he wanted to have something special for New Year's Day. And I told him you were making the beef soup. And he said, oh, that would be great. He loves your beef soup. Oh, my gosh, he loves your beef soup.
You know what that means?
What? A lot of cooking.
I got to tell you something on the air since it's 2015.
What does that mean?
A lot of guys, a lot of men, they're macho men! And these guys, they have these wonderful women that are in their lives, and they never give them the accolades that they really deserve to do. You know what I'm trying to say to you? And I want to tell you something. I got over 200 people that work for me. 200. And it's 200 different personalities. And I listen to every different thing, and I watch the sales representatives up there. You know what I mean? And I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, and I can't speak for everybody, but Sandy, I want to thank you publicly for all that you have done for me.
What did I do?
Well, the support that you give somebody, and like I said, me and Sandy, sometimes we fight like cats and dogs, but the only thing that changes when you love somebody, love is the only thing that could change anything. Love is the most powerful thing in the world. It's forgiveness.
Love is powerful.
Because a friend of mine said something to me.
Strong.
I'll never forget. His name was Johnny Mitchell. He was in 50 of my plays. 50.
50? Oh, my gosh.
Guy was incredible. I had him play Moses. I had him play everything from Alvin and the Chipmunks. This guy was the best. I love this kid. I was with him a lot of years. He's one of the best actors I've ever dealt with. He said, Mike, if your heart is not right, you can never receive anything. And I said, what do you mean by that? He said, if your heart's not right, when people's heart's not right, they want to hold grudges. They don't want to see the wrongs that they do. They don't, it doesn't make any difference, wrong, right. You love somebody, your kids crack your car up. What are you going to do? Throw them out for the rest of your life? Your husband came home drunk. He don't have the mortgage payment because he went on the crap table at Caesars and lost it. And they're ready to close your house, and your wife wants to leave him. Weigh the good with the bad with people. You know what I'm trying to say to you? If it's that bad, then you go your separate ways. But I still believe that even with friendship, weigh the good with the bad. I mean, not everybody's perfect. So if somebody does something wrong or they said something to hurt your feelings, you say, I'm done with that guy. I'm through. Don't be that way. Don't be so friggin' shallow that you want to throw away all the good things that people do for you over something. And communication is the key. And that's the problem, Sandy. A lot of people don't have the communication. They'll hold that inside.
Communication is so important.
It's important.
I was telling Robin Covey that this morning.
Do that.
Robin Covey is here at KLAV, and she's the general manager here.
She was a pole dancer, too.
Yeah. I heard. Yeah, she's pretty good. Anyway, I was talking to her, and I said, yeah, communication is so important. We were talking about the importance of communicating with one another, and really, it is important, folks. And if you really want to, let somebody know that you care about them, communication is the key. Now, how do we communicate today? A lot of times we're communicating by phone, by text, by email, by Instagram, by Pinterest, by Facebook, by LinkedIn, by, my golly gee whiz. I mean, people just forgot how to communicate. Pick up a phone and say, hey, what are you doing later? You want to get together? Or, you know what? I just called to say I love you. I just called to say how much I care. Does anybody have a gun?
Please shoot me.
Seriously, folks. There is nothing like receiving a card in the mail.
Yes.
And you know what? Send out cards is perfect for that. Are you familiar with send out cards?
No. Is that Bobby?
That's Bob's. Yeah, that's Bob's company, Bob and Betty.
Bob and Betty.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, Peter Anthony Wynn, subscribes to them, and he the thing of it is sending out a personalized card, folks. Not something that's a little text or a little. I mean, it's nice to receive the text. It's nice to receive the emails. However, it really is nice to receive a phone call. and especially if you've got somebody that's back east that's living alone, maybe an aunt or an uncle,
a girlfriend,
or a relative, that maybe, could use a little brightening up, a little cheering up, and just to hear your voice.
Yeah, if you whack somebody, call the family. Tell me say you're
Make
sorry.
them feel better. And to send a card, a personalized note with a personalized message in it. So remember these things. These are other ways of communicating. And speaking of communicating, if you're just tuning in now, you're listening to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael. And we're going to be right back after a message from our sponsors who are communicating with you.
Good luck, be a lady tonight. Look how I'm longing to see.
There's no other radio show like it. This is Sandy Kastel and Friends. The phone lines are open at 702-731-1230. Now, here again, Sandy Kastel.
Hi, and welcome back to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show.
Yeah, with me.
See how it hangs out there,
Yeah,
folks?
I know. I got
With
something
Chef Michael.
Yeah, I got something hanging.
Anyway, yeah. Right. Hey, listen, I was watching this comedian. You know what I did last night? I drove down to Golden Valley to see my brother-in-law, Alex Garza, and my nephew, Trace Garza, and my great-nephew, Anthony Garza. And it was so much fun. We were sitting there talking. We were catching up on things and talking about the holidays, and just, it was really nice, a nice visit. And there was this comedian on the air, and he was, he's the kid that was in the Drive-By movie, the spoof that they did on that movie with the
Jimmy
Drive-By.
the Spoof.
I don't know. Anyway, he was really funny, and he had some funny things he was talking about things hanging down there. Anyway, since you mentioned that. So, anyway, Chef Michael, since you're going to make beef soup for us, what can I make as a compliment to go along with the beef soup? Can I make like a salad?
No, that really doesn't go at the soup. I don't.
How about bread? Oh, can I bake some of my bread?
Why don't you do the pizzelles? You didn't do the pizzelles.
Well, can you dunk pizzelles in the beef soup? No. What about bread? I can make some of my homemade bread, and we the wreath. I can make the wreath. Or I
do this?
I can make some.
Well, have
see, he won't let me make. See,
no, that's great.
Really, thank you so much, Michael. Can't I do anything?
Pain in the ass.
What? I want to make some bread. Why don't I make the bread?
Go ahead. That sounds
okay.
great.
Good. And
right.
I'll come up with a different design than a wreath because we're past the wreath.
Yeah. Well, I figured we could do. I'm going to do the beef soup. I'll go to the store and
maybe I'll do a diaper.
I think the sausage. I'll tell you another one that was a big hit was the sausage and peppers.
Oh, sausage and peppers. Oh, yeah. But you've done sausage and peppers before.
Well, that's the holiday.
So do the beef soup, and I'll bake the bread.
I got to make something else,
and then
honey. The soup is just an appetizer. I got to make a main course. What do you want?
That's not a main course?
No.
Holy Toledo. Soup can really be a main course.
I know, but it's
you
not.
know what Alex Yanko said to me? He said, Peter Anthony. It was Peter Anthony Wynn. He said, tell Michael, why can't he just make one dish? Because he goes, you make like 10 or 15 dishes, and I go, and you have to have a little bit of each one. And by the time I'm done, I'm like 10 pounds heavier.
Well, how about if I do this? Why don't we do? Well, naturally, Dad's coming.
What if you? Oh, I know. What about if you make those bread bowls that you pour the soup in?
You can do that.
Can we make the bread bowls and you pour them? Oh, you have to buy them.
You have to buy them.
They have to be really dense, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, they have them at Smith's.
Okay.
They're big. They're nice though. It's a nice touch.
Well, so what else would you fix with the beef soup?
Well, I was thinking.
I know you're dying to tell all our listeners.
No, I was thinking on the beef soup. Maybe just a shrimp scampi, like a whole thing of shrimp scampi with the linguine. That's delicious. Just a bunch of shrimp. If not, because we got a meat. We got the meat dish is that. But
the soup? Because you got the meat in the soup.
I think that would. Okay. I think that would go nice. Not the crab or nothing like that. Just the shrimp.
Just some shrimp.
Just like a shrimp, a beautiful shrimp. I can make a shrimp marinada too. That's delicious.
No.
Oh, you don't want that?
No, marinada.
All right.
We got a lot of marinada.
So Dad's coming.
Dad's coming.
All right. Well, that's great.
So beef soup.
Well, you know what that means? That means I got to call Dr. Perry.
New Year's Day. Yes.
Dr. Perry and Diana.
And maybe Diana will make her favorite salad that she.
Yes.
That was a great
salad.
salad.
Who else you want to invite
Diana?
for that? Who else you want to invite?
We'll invite them all over.
Oh,
yeah, everybody.
God.
They're invited over for New Year's Day. Forget New Year's Eve. Well, actually, Lisa, Carl Grosso are doing the
And
New
you know
Year's
what's
Eve
going to
party.
happen? Hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Come on over and eat.
You know what we'll do is maybe if they bring their cots, they could all just come over and spend the night.
Well,
and
if
then
we
you
do
could-
that, let's do it.
Because you'll start making that
do it at
soup, I'm sure, at
2
3 o'clock in the morning.
No, let's do it at 2 in the afternoon. I think New Year's, and it's not at night. That's in the afternoon.
Is there a football game or something like that? What time
I
is
hate
that?
football.
Yeah, but everybody else might like it. We
I
could do
hate
the
it.
football on the screen, you know.
No, we can. No, I'm only kidding. But I think
What are
that
you
would
doing
be
with my
nice.
pen? That's my pen.
So what do you think? You want to do that? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, let's do it.
Make it at 2
Let's
o'clock in the
do it.
afternoon.
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
All right, and you know, I want Robert and Steve to join us. You know, Robert, are you listening, Robert? I expect you to be there.
Shiny Mohawk.
Yeah, Shiny Mohawk.
Oh,
Jason,
Shiny Mohawk.
And
We gotta
Karen.
have Karen.
Rice.
There it goes. There's 40 people.
And Steve, you know, Steve hasn't come over.
I just
in a
did the
while.
rugs.
I know.
Oh, my God.
That's okay. You can do them
Well,
again.
this will be buffet style, as we did the
Buffet
last
style,
time.
of course.
How about...
and Monique and
Monique?
Robert Gordy.
Not
That's right,
Monique.
That's right.
Monique Brewster.
And Cece Spencer.
Oh, my God. We
and
get right back
Pirko
to
and-
40
Pirko
freaking
and
people.
Delay. Oh, and don't forget Gigi Ullman and Mike.
Oh, we got to invite
That's right.
Gigi.
That's right. And the Grossos.
They won't come.
And 2 o'clock might be good because they
won't
might be
come.
awake by then. Anyway, we love you guys. Have a wonderful day. And check us out on YouTube this afternoon. Actually, it might be a little bit later now because, you know, with John Stiles doing all of his new work that he's been doing. And he gets them up a little bit later. I think it's around 6 o'clock that they'll be up on YouTube. And thank you to Ryan, our engineer. Thank you. Thank you to John Lindquist. Thank you to the staff here at KLAV and Lotus Broadcasting. And we'll see you again here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael.
Lost on every day.